Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. We just landed again in Amsterdam, so we're back in the hometown, feeling good, feeling juicy, specifically because you guys were spamming me all night long that the XRP price got back to $1.30. So when you guys were texting me, alright, and this is when it was really awkward because I was at the airport, all I could do is just look at my phone, look at the price moving and breaking out of the triangle, which we were talking about earlier. And oh man, was it a stressful little morning. But I survived, everything went well. And we are back inside the triangle, which I found really interesting. And guys, I just want to quickly say, I appreciate every single one of you that watches these videos. I appreciate you so much you do not want to know. All right, it's really amazing that you guys just say hi every so often. And I would have told you all to press the like button, but you don't have to today. You know what? Just enjoy. I enjoy your presence. That's it. So I actually did buy 250 more XRP into my long position. You might be wondering why. I can very, very easily explain it. So hopefully you watch all my videos. If you did, you know exactly why I did so. But it's because I told you all I'm basically going to try buy the bottom as many times as possible. And I told you all as well, if you believe in the process, it might be something you'd want to go for. And really around this area, I'm going to say it might have been this candle right here. It was just somewhere late last evening. This is just this morning. It was somewhere around here. I saw the bottom of our little triangle being hit once more. And I was like, you know what? Guys, I got to put my money where my mouth is. If I'm telling you guys that I think it's smart to buy these bottoms of the triangle every single time, and I'm not doing that, am I not stupid? I kind of would be, right? So I went and bought 250 more XRP. I know it's not a lot. I know it's not a lot for people. But still, it's about the idea that matters. And it's about the fact that I'm still stacking up on my perpetual. Because I want to keep this trade open for as long as possible. And I've explained before as well, I'm not sure if that's a smart idea for everybody. But for me, it's a good idea and it's working like a charm. And I am loving it. So my expectation is still extremely bullish on all these cryptos. Many people gave me really big criticism for being so bullish. I said I think $100 is possible longer term, and shorter term I think a quick impulse towards $12 in case of a settlement really wouldn't be too crazy. When I gave, and that's the fun thing, when I give my conservative estimates, like for example $7 as kind of an interesting quick rise, people get sad. When I give my a little bit more controversial, but real price prediction of, like, for example, $12, people also get sad and annoyed and whatnot. So at the end of the day, it's really difficult to really point down what you think is going to happen, because the most important point I would say is about $12 or so. We covered that a couple of times, but another hard part of mine is just finding the right chart for it. I believe here we have one of them that showcases the higher price target. Yeah, here we do, exactly. All right, so let me show you guys a little bit more about this $12 XRP, which was something that people used to really preach to, all right? People used to really take this in severely. This was their freaking, I don't know, their Bible almost. So let's take a little bit of a look back, all right? There is the, I believe, lowest point of 2020 and the highest point, basically the all-time high of 2018. People took the Fibonacci over that, and basically what you're seeing is, if you're looking at some of these extension levels, first of all, we're getting closer to the 0.382 at about $1.40 or so, which is rather interesting. A couple of weeks ago, we were kind of facing some heavy resistance at this 0.5, right, at about $1.80. That's the most peculiar area back in that time. Now, once more, I don't think we're going to really see too much of a resistance at like $2.20 and $2.80 or so. Even though these are important levels, I don't really think so. I'm thinking more towards, again, all-time high as a really big factor, and some of the extension levels, like, for example, $5.66. And as, again, if we kind of skip a couple of points here, all the way towards this area here, the 3.618 Fibonacci extension level at $12.55. And guys, I'm telling you, so many people hold this dearly, so many people do, that I really, really firmly think there might be some crazy selling pressure around that area. Because what I do believe is once we get a settlement, it's just going to be going like this, all right? I'm just honestly speaking, honestly, I think it's going to be going like this. A little bit of sideways for no, actually, to be honest with you, I think about 15 minutes prior to a settlement announcement, we're going to see the price do this already, then a little bit back down one candle, and then a like this within like a couple of minutes, right? But it might face a little bit of resistance, for example, right here, just because some people might take profit. And again, one of those important levels before it's going to surge back, going to trade around there a little bit and then kind of fall back down towards a, maybe a level like right around here. Something along those lines. What am I basing that on? First of all, supply and demand. Second of all, logic. And third of all, the importance of what exactly it is that we are facing. There really isn't any complete science to put down where the price is going to go, because ultimately here, these are our expectations based upon what we're seeing right now and what we can expect due to history. But since we've never seen a settlement of this degree and a settlement in this type of fashion, well, we don't really know what to expect. We really just can't tell. And now, in terms of resistances, the problem comes in that I have too much open, and I think at one point or another, I'm just going to have to refresh my charts all the way and just kind of start off clean again, because we've been doing too many videos on these charts, guys, and all these levels, all these price levels, they're not that relevant anymore if we can't figure them out too much anymore. But if you're trying to figure out what zones I'm watching, for the most part, it is actually the bluish, turquoise, cyan areas. So right here you can see we got one little rejection at the $1.30 area. This is also the area which I quoted before as an area of interest about a week ago or so. And again, as you clearly see, that's the area which we're facing some resistance at right freaking now as well. Once more, it's combined with the triangle, which we broke out from for just a second before coming back in. However, that is also supported by Bitcoin's move, as Bitcoin did exactly the same thing a couple of days ago. All right, we had this symmetrical triangle. Bitcoin broke out toward the top set before coming right back down. And the thing is, Bitcoin actually broke down below it. And here in Bitcoin, I would say you see more manipulation. The reason I'm saying that is because with Bitcoin, usually, if it breaks out towards the top side, right, people are starting to buy in, especially once we get to the area of basically the high of the symmetrical triangle. People start to get really bullish, but exactly at that point, that's where we kind of fell back down. We couldn't get over that hurdle, and we fell back down even deeper than the triangle itself, which you don't see that often, because then it basically means, like we saw in the big, let me actually show it to you guys, like we saw in the bigger bull run a couple of weeks ago already. Let me show you the daily chart here for Bitcoin. We don't have a triangle in there anymore. What was basically at around this area. There were triangle after triangle after triangle that were being drawn. And every single time there was a bullish impulse before a bearish breakdown around this area of May to June. All right, just kind of take my word for it for right now. People were drawing these triangles left, right, left, right, left, right. And every time there was a bullish breakout, before another bearish kind of reversal. And right now it kind of feels as if Bitcoin is picking up that pace again of just kind of baiting people out. And the problem with that is obviously that people really don't know what to expect from right now for it. Then again, I'm going to tell you guys, since July, about July 21st, we have been bullish. And well, as you can clearly see, this is what the price has been doing, right? It's been making higher lows ever since. It's making higher highs and higher lows. And so from that perspective, we're still looking extremely bullish. There's really not that much to really worry about. Let's actually show it to you guys, all right? So our kind of reversal point was this critical area here at about, I need to take them away, yeah. So for Bitcoin, it is the lowest point of about 29.278, this price right there. Then first impulse towards about $42,000 or so, rather quick, but also rather severe towards that area. Made our first high. Came back down, we corrected roughly about, let's quickly check that out. There we go. Let's check out how much we corrected for. About 12% or so before coming back up. About 28% or so before correcting again. About, let's say 9% or so before coming back up again. About 16%. Potentially correcting a little bit again, potentially moving through. I'm personally going to say we can actually move through here, as I would say this is the pattern for right now. Made a new low right around that area. Now another impulse towards the top right there. Made a new low right at that area. And then another kind of impulse towards maybe, a little bit like this area here, like about 50, 54, a little bit below 55,000 or so before kind of building itself back up. But this is not based upon any price levels. This is about logical thinking. If we're looking at the price, there's a couple of interesting points. Like, for example, right freaking here at 49,000, which again is the area which we're facing some resistance at right as we currently speak. Most likely there's also something looming yet right around here at about 53,000 or so. Let's quickly put these two spots in of very much interest. Theoretically speaking, this one is also a point of interest. I'm seeing one. Okay, there's actually quite a couple of interesting points around this area. Let's just put the three of these in to see where some interesting resistances in the near future are going to lie. Well, here we go. Here we go. So once more, one of them we've already breached. There's two more to go, about 51,000 and about 53.3. And from that point up forward, it's kind of free. I guess it's not free range just quite yet. We have 55,000, and it clearly shows that there's a couple of interesting parts that are still kind of hurdles. But since I feel as if we're in a bullish narrative here, all it takes is just to get to those areas and then correct back to a lower one. For example, move all the way up from here to about that area, about 90% up, then correct again a little bit, like for example 8% or so, before again coming back up about 20%, and so forward and so on with the same moves. As we get to that area at about $58,000 per Bitcoin next, if we were to kind of continue with a pattern like that, which wouldn't really be too crazy. And around the XRP price, the same thing kind of goes, right? Let's actually, we are already on a daily here. You can clearly see that we've basically been building up from July 21st on forward. And XRP is actually going a little bit more exponential than Bitcoin is. As you can clearly see, it's looking a little bit, what? Okay. Damn. Why did it have to do that to me? I didn't lose my mouse. Let's do it again. Let's try it again. It's going a little bit more like this. I wanted to say a little bit more exponential on them. However, the same kind of pattern applies. We got our first low right there, our first high around this area before kind of correcting again. And then it gets kind of difficult, like what are our highs, what are our lows? We can kind of pull a line under there, but since it's so exponential, it's a little bit difficult as we have a lot of room to come kind of down upon. Maybe if we kind of stretch it out a little bit, it looks a little bit more clean. But even then, guys, we're just a little bit too bullish for our own good, which is why some people might say that let me actually take those off for a little second. Which is why some people might think that XP is a little bit overvalued right now. I'm going to say no, it's not, because people know what they're buying. People know what they're buying for. And $1.50, all that type of stuff, it's not an area of too much importance, guys. It is too low, in my own opinion, to really worry ourselves about. And if you're trying to trade these really small little price nudges, this is not the place for you, right? It's not my area, not my expertise. Right now, we are waiting for a critical breakout of this area. Are we going to follow along with Bitcoin like it faked us out many times before, but breaking out towards the downside after breaking up towards the top side? Bitcoin has done that many times. It basically goes on like another big red candle, another one towards the downside before hitting a critical area, like for example right here, $1.10 or so, and then kind of coming up back bullish again beyond the initial area. Or are we going to retest the top of the triangle at about $1.34 or so, or the local high of August, which again would be rather interesting, before basically building itself back up? I do think the latter. I do think we're going to build ourselves up from here. Luckily, I did buy a little bit extra yesterday. Theoretically speaking, we could have also bought when we hit the triangle once more. As I said before, guys, right now this triangle trading is pretty simple. It's risky, but it's one of the easier things that people can do. So should we sell right now to buy back cheaper? That is for yourself to decide. It's definitely something which we could think about. Then again, right now things are getting more and more uncertain as we're coming towards the end of the triangle, which is where things get a lot more interesting. Then again, one thing I should point out is that the pattern along this chart is a little bit more, I guess, easy to see, right? A couple of points are really clear to us. One, even though we're making higher lows and higher highs, it's not a linear pattern. What I mean with that is right now we've gotten a higher high before making a lower high right now, but we're still making higher lows. And that's the thing about a bullish trend. It's about making higher lows and partially about making the higher highs. But since you draw support lines and not necessarily resistances when you're talking about a bullish trend, and of course the other way around when you're drawing a bearish trend, the highs that it's making don't really matter too much as long as it eventually overtakes and as long as it doesn't build lower highs. So if we have to draw a conclusion, I would say the last couple of weeks prior, right? Let me turn that off here. I will turn that off. There we go. Nope, I'm professional. So what we saw in May-ish area is basically after that a bearish market. So this area is entirely just bearish until about July 20th on forward for about a couple of months. I'm going to say 3 months or so before right now, again, getting into a new area. However, I would say it's a bearish phase of a bull market, if we were to really use the technicals for it, since I don't really consider 100 days or so as a real complete bear market. But that's also because crypto and Bitcoin specifically and XRP specifically are too short here. They haven't been here long enough, these asset classes, to really determine exactly what it should be. But point being, guys, I'm extremely bullish. I'll keep buying at these points. I don't really care about where the price goes short term, but if I had to pick a guess, I would definitely say our way is up from here.